Hello and welcome to Homegrown Florida. I am Katrina and today we're going to be making a salve out of calendula oil. And so these were calendula flowers that I grew during the summer, well, summertime. I allowed them to dry off the plant. So I clipped them off the plant once the blooms were full. I let them dry on a paper towel or a tea towel or something like that. Let them dry all the way. You can dehydrate them. You probably are going to lose a little bit of their medicinal qualities by doing that rather than just letting them air dry. So if you have the time, let them air dry. And then what I've done is I put them in oil. This is just olive oil. And I've let them steep for, it says like 6 to 8 weeks to do it. I didn't get to these in time, so it's been more like 3 months that they have been steeping. So I'm fairly certain that this oil is ready to go and ready to make myself. The other elements that you're going to need are some beeswax. So this is an organic white beeswax pellet, and I'll put everything that I have here today, I'll put in the description so that if you're interested in getting some yourself, you can. I also have tea tree oil that I'm going to be using. You can really use any essential oil, but I really like the tea tree oil because the purpose of my salve is to help with scrapes, scratches, sunburns, rashes, anything that's causing disruption to your skin. My husband tends to have quite a bit of skin issues. He is a ginger. So he's very pale skin with red hair, and his skin is always having like a rosacea or an eczema or some sort of situation that's always kind of happening to him. So I wanted to create this salve as a medicinal thing that I've grown in my garden, in my herbs, all organic. And he can use this whenever he's having some skin issues. It's also really, really great for chapped lips, also dry skin this time of year. It can be used in a lot of different ways for really any kind of skin irritation. And then you can use it just simply as a moisturizer. If you were going to use it as a moisturizer, you might want to pick a different scent than the tea tree oil. Tea tree oil has kind of a woodsy, eucalyptus type smell to it. You might want to stick with like a lavender or a cinnamon or something that's going to, smell really good and refreshing. You can also add shea butter to this recipe. I didn't have any, so I didn't add any. So we're going to make it just straight with oil and the beeswax. So let's jump right into it. So the first step we want to do is fill up a pan with some water. We're going to put that water on the stove and heat it up slowly. So I'm going to put it on like a medium low to start. I have a little trivet. It's like a little rubber trivet that I use in my canning projects that I'm going to be using for this. We have to melt the beeswax and heat up the calendula oil in this hot water. So I'm using a glass Pyrex bowl. Be prepared that once you put beeswax into this bowl, it might not ever be able to be used for anything else. So I have a bunch of these. For some reason, I have collected these. I don't know how. But I'm okay with losing this one. So I'm going to place it on that little trivet so that it's not touching the bottom of the pan where it could possibly break. And then I'm going to add my beeswax. It's about 1 ounce of beeswax to anywhere from 4 to 7 ounces of calendula oil. It depends on how strong you want your salve to be. So I'm going to do 1 ounce of beeswax and I'm going to do 5 ounces of calendula oil. So I'm told that 1 tablespoon is 1 ounce, but I don't necessarily trust that because I don't know if beeswax is considered a liquid or a solid. It's a solid right now, so I'm going to assume. Okay, definitely not right. It's not 1 tablespoon. It is, let's see here. Okay, it's about 3 heaping tablespoons of the beeswax pellets. So we're going to go ahead and put that in here. Now we're going to measure out the calendula oil. So I'm aiming for around 5 ounces of oil. So that So 3 tablespoons of the oil is 1 ounce. So that right there is 3.5 ounces. I may not have 5. Let's see. I have exactly 5 ounces. I really couldn't have tried to do that any better. There is tiny bit of oil down there at the bottom, but apparently half a pint jar of flowers and oil is 5 ounces. These are some quick measurements for you. So now I'm going to use a little toothpick because I don't want to mess up any of my spoons or forks, but I'm going to use a little toothpick and we are just going to let this all melt together very slowly. It's been maybe, I don't know, 5 to 7 minutes and it is starting to melt, but we need all of that, the little pellets, the little beeswax pellets, to be completely melted into a liquid before we can move forward. I'm just taking it low and slow. I don't want to damage the medicinal properties of the calendula oil, so I don't want to heat it up too high too quickly. So now our calendula oil is all melted in with the beeswax. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my tea tree oil and turn off my heat. The tea tree oil is pretty strong, so I'm going to use about half a dropper. I'm just going to mix that in. And very carefully, I'm going to pour this into some little tins. This had like 6 tins. I don't even think I'm going to use 2. Definitely next year when I grow calendula, I will grow a lot more. This was all from one plant, so about 5 ounces of oil from one plant. But next year, I think I'm going to grow even more so that I can make more of this stuff if we really like it. So we were definitely able to pour enough for 2 of these. I guess they're about 2.5 ounces. Now we're going to get cleaned up and we're going to let these calendulum cool completely. The salve has to be a solid. So it's going to take some time. Just leave them on your counter overnight, and by morning they should be completely solid. And at that point you would just stick a finger in it or a Q-tip or something in it and rub on your skin. And it can be used for all sorts of things. Medicinal herbs are something that I just recently started getting into. And so this is my first experiment of using those herbs in a medicinal way outside of like teas. I have a bunch of stuff that I've grown for teas, and we do use that on occasion for when we're feeling under the weather. But this is going to be the first real type of medicine. I can't wait to get into like tonics and things as well. But this one was a very simple, easy to grow plant, easy to make ointment, and I'm just really excited about being able to use this in the future. Thank you so much for watching. If you have a really cool medicinal recipe, I would love to hear it. Head down in the comments, leave me a note. We'll talk to you next time.